It was a crazy week in the world of AI. So there's so many AI news out there. We're going to cover all of it quickly. I will leave all the links and the sources for you if you want to do your own research and read into these things. But there's a lot to cover today and it's all exciting. You have to stick till the end because the biggest update will come at the end of the video. Everything else along the way is equally important, but this is a big one. So if you enjoy this episode, do not forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel to support it. And with this and without any further ado, let's get started.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel, the mic.
So let's kick things off with Agent Skills by Anthropic. So Anthropic put out this new update, something called Skills. And from the first look, I thought, okay, this is just an MD that they feed an agent. So what's so special about it? Now, you can read the sources. I'll put the links, but the gist of it, this is not just a normal MD file. Fundamentally, a skill is a folder, it's a zip folder actually, where you can have MD files or text. You can have kind of secondary MD files to give further context to the original skills.md, what they call skills.md. You can have code snippets and more. So this is something being developed. Now, the major difference here is the skill in theory is something that is within the agent environment. So it's not something that the agent is accessing before it gives you an output. And that makes a big difference. At least I can tell you for a fact that makes a big difference when it comes to performance based on my personal testing. Now here, if you go to this blog, and I'll have all the links in the description, you can read all about it, how skills work, what that means exactly, how to activate it, potential use for it, and so forth. And also, if you want to further read into skills, you can go to the documentation. Again, the link will be there, and read this piece that you see on the screen, which is equipping agents for the real world with agent skills. Okay, so it has much more details on how agent works. So you can go all in on that and understand what is skills.md and how you can actually reference other MD files within that. The amazing thing, so let me show you first how to activate it. So if you go to settings, you go to capabilities and you scroll down. And by the way, this is something that just was dropped now. So you can consider this as a cherry on the top for this episode. Anthropic actually pushed further the memory. So we got before some time search and reference chats. So basically you can search and look through your chats. Now you can actually activate generate memory from chat history. So now Anthropic has its memory. So you can actually talk about or ask it about things that you had a chat about in some other session long back, and it will remember. It will go through basically your chat sessions and it will use that as memory. So you have to activate it. By default, it's deactivated. If you go to, again, capabilities in settings, go down to memory, you'll find this and you can activate it. Now, if you keep scrolling down, you're going to go to experimental. Here, you're going to have to turn this off for the analysis tool for you to be able to work with skills. At least this is I think the pop-up that I got. But you'll find this skills section. And automatically, off the bat, you get a list of skills deactivated that you can activate directly coming from Anthropic. So all of these skills will be here. You have to activate some of them or all of them and play with it. Now, for me, the best one is the skill creator. So you have a skill to create a skill. And these skills are basically agents that you can deploy in Claude just by calling them. So you can refer to the skill tool. You can refer to whatever tool that you create. So for me, I only created one and the performance is out of this world. So I created a skill that helps me create diagrams on Excel Draw. So I had a project on Claude that does that for me. It performed okay. When I created a skill out of it, the performance in actually creating those diagrams multiplied 3 to 4 times. Like 3 to 4 times better than anything I got out of that project that I created for this. So now let's use the skill creating skill to create a new skill. And I'll show you that live. It's very easy. it will do it. It will give you the file, you'll download it and then upload it again. So I'll just give you this quick demo and then we will move to the next update. Okay, here I am on my projects. I want to actually have one more project move from project usage. So I don't want to do this function within the project. I want actually to make it a skill. And that project that we're going to make a skill is the Claude Code base files builder and coach. So when I go to code something, I created this project that has best practices for Claude.md and other files that I need to have in my directory when I develop a project with Claude Code. So I use it a lot for even the smallest project I build, and it's very helpful. And I gave it my own instructions or recommendations on how to build Claude.md based on my experience. I want it to be a skill. I do not want every time to come to the project and ask it to do that. And again, if I see the same performance improvement in the other skill that I created, this is definitely something I want to do. So here, simply, I will give it a simple prompt that will build the skill for me. Okay, here I'm switching to Sonnet 4.5 and you can see the prompt is very easy. And skills are very helpful if you create a skill for something that's repetitive, something that you use a lot. And the Excel draw skill is something I use regularly. This is definitely something I use a lot. And with that, I just hit go. So now it's searching the project. So, okay, good. It found the details. So now see, it's reading the skill creator skill. So it's looking through that skill, how to create a skill. And now it understands it and it looked into the skill.md in that. And the skill.md is like Claude.md when you use Claude Code. It's basically the map of how to navigate whatever is there in that zip folder. And it is done. So let's download the zip file with all the MD files in it. And just to let you know, it wasn't super smooth. So I had 3 hiccups along the way. One time Claude crashed. Second time I got a file with a .skill extension, which is not right. We need it in the .zip. And then I got the .zip file, and when I tried to load that, it had some errors in using the word Claude inside skill.md, which apparently is something that is not allowed. So it's reserved for something else. So I had 4 errors for me to get through to this. And by the way, this is something that I didn't get last time I created my skill. Nevertheless, this is just for you to know that it's not perfect, it's improving, but it is definitely an improvement of using something like a project, at least from my experience. So now let's go to settings, and in settings, we'll go to capabilities, we'll scroll down to skills, we'll hit upload skill, we'll click this button here. We'll load our new downloaded zip file, and this should give us our skill uploaded successfully. So we have our skill, which is code files creator. Create comprehensive Claude.md project global rules, and then project specifications. For the second major update, we have Claude Code on the web. Now, it has access to the internet, so you can create an environment on the internet and you can actually, through the browser, give it the prompts and get it to work for you through the cloud, meaning that you do not have to have your machine at all times to be able to code. You can actually do it on your mobile as well. So this is not something new. Codex had it. Things like Manus, for a long time they had it, but for a super powerful coding tool like Claude Code, this is definitely a breakthrough and big news that many people are excited about. I'm going to give you the links for this so you can look at the blog they created about Claude Code, going to the web, how they did that, and how they maintain the security by separating file access and network access. You can read all about that in the blog and then the documentation. It's super interesting. If you're into coding, I think this is a really good read before you start using it, just for you to understand what's happening below the hood, how things are going when it comes to coding through the cloud, and if it's the thing you want to actually use. For me, from my experience, and I'll show you a snippet of dealing with Claude Code on the cloud, I tried it twice. Again, this is in the early days, just like the next day after they announced it. I gave it a prompt, it started working, it got stuck. I did it again, it got stuck again. Only today I was able to actually get it to complete a job. So for any project you want to work out through Claude Code on the cloud, you need a repository on GitHub to be that source of files where the Claude Code cloud environment can create, you can see here, pull requests. Here it says view pull requests because I actually did the merge already through GitHub. So fundamentally, you can actually do full coding jobs through the user interface of Claude Code on the cloud now. So you can do it on your computer, you can do it on your mobile, you can do it even on a friend's laptop, but you have to log into your account. So there's so many ways how you can do this. And definitely this is a step up for Claude Code and something that honestly I have been waiting for some time. I'm not a big coder on the cloud regardless of Codex or Claude Code, but there are times where I genuinely just wanted to have such an access to run something simple or to run some fix that I thought of or something that I wanted to add to the documentation. And you can test it yourself if you're a pro or a max user with Claude. Just to give you a look or a feel of how it works, I will just ask it what is our first phase. And for some context here, I'm in early phases of developing something new. So I created my Claude.md and other files. I gave it to Claude Code, ask it to read it, analyze it, clean it up, optimize it, and then ask me some questions about the project that it needs to get clear. Now we're there. Now it created a deployment, development plan, testing plan, all of the whole structure of how we're going to work out the project. So to show you the Claude Code on the cloud, I will just ask it to give me some details about our first phase of development. So I'll just hit go. And you can see if you're used to the CLI and how it works, it looks really similar to that. And I'm not asking it to do a change here. I'm just asking it for a piece of information. So it will answer. If I ask it to actually change in the files, it will do those changes and it will give me the option to hit a button and create a pull request on GitHub. So now it gave me the phase 0 actions that we need to do. And it's asking me if you want to go and start implementing. I will not do that now on this project. Now something more fun, Vue 3.1 came out a little while back. Maybe this is a bit late, but again, it's an improvement over Vue 3. You can have more consistency in the characters, in the videos, in the whatever you create. So you can do more relevant or related clips that you can do something creative with. You can actually give it frames and ask it to develop something related to those frames or give it an image. So here I just got, actually I got Gemini to create for me a Vue 3.1 prompt. Again, it's talking about a woman in a red head. So I got a picture with a free license online to use. So this is a woman with a red head. And now I'm assuming based on this prompt and me hitting go, Vue 3.1 will create for me the same prompt video, but using the image of this woman as the subject. So let me hit go and we see what we get as a result. So it started giving me the details and generating the video. As usual, it takes 1 to 2 minutes. So I will just show you the video once it's ready. So the video is ready now. So let's watch it together and see what we got.
The future is brighter than it seems.
Let's watch it again.
The future is brighter than it seems.
I don't know what you thought of it. I think it's amazing. And you can see the woman in red hair is actually nearly exactly the woman in the image I actually provided for the model. So this is something you know now and you can play with it and be much more creative than I am. One more amazing thing happened this week in AI where we actually got DeepSeek back in the headlines. So DeepSeek came with this paper called DeepSeek OCR, Context Optical Compression. Now, OCR is nothing new and I use Mistral a lot for their OCR model, by the way. What these people came with now from DeepSeek, and again, I think they will shake the world of AI one more time, is totally different. So yes, they built an OCR model and it's good, probably. And apparently I already saw some people like Karpathy himself, Andre Karpathy, talking about that this is really good as a model. But the revolutionary thing they've done, or the breakthrough they've done in this paper that even Andre Karpathy again himself highlights in his post and many others, is that using the OCR, using the vision large models or VLMs, they came up with a method or a direction where beyond the OCR, they propose to have text go through AI models, not as text or text tokens, but actually as images and image tokens. And they've said, and they've tested this with this OCR model, this idea actually allowed them to compress the context by tenfold. Fundamentally, what they are saying here, for a super high precision OCR model that they've created, so it's highly accurate when it looks at text, they are actually able to generate 10 times less tokens with the same amount of text that the model still digests. In the easiest term, if today we have a model that has 1 million tokens of context, if it leverages this stack or this technology here, theoretically, that model can have a 10 million token context window. And that is a big deal. So this is the most important part of this breakthrough paper by DeepSeek, talking about Andrei Karpathy's comment on DeepSeek's paper. I watched this podcast for Andrei Karpathy. He's one of the most grounded, well-known minds in the world of AI today. And it is for sure the best 2.5 hours I spent listening about someone who knows deeply what's happening in the world of AI, challenging the status quo. So he's not part of that group of CEOs who try to get money by hyping things. You get it as real as it gets when it comes to Andrei's inputs and opinions around AI. So I will not burn the whole thing. I know it's 2.5 hours. I recommend it to anyone serious about AI. But the main things that I would highlight that are really interesting, I heard from Andrei. Number one, he was calling at 2025. This is actually not the year of agents. This is the decade of agents. And the way I understood his argument is that the technology is not there yet in terms of delivering real results, regardless for corporate ROIs. He's saying this will take us 10 years to really get to the place that people are promising that will come in a year or two. And he's very confident about his answer. And I think most of us in that AI bubble on X probably, we think the same thought, but we hear something different from these experts or CEOs in the tech world. So he's saying something different. The other thing, he's describing large language models as ghosts and not animals. And this is, he spent a good amount of effort to talk about analogies when it comes to AI. And the reason is, he says they are ghosts because they are things that try to mimic, or entities that try to mimic human behavior, and that's it. We are not yet at a position where large language models or artificial intelligence as we know it today is something that evolved like animals do. So it's less than an animal, more like a ghost. So it's a shell of other humans, mimicking their behavior, mimicking their words. So he definitely spends a good amount of time on that. And then one more interesting thing he clearly talks about is that, in his opinion, reinforcement learning, which is the biggest deal in the world of AI in the past 6 months to 1 year, if not more, he's saying basically it's really bad. It's not a good system to develop large language model. It's computationally heavy. So he bashes that technology a lot. He says something else should come. Again, if you want to really dig deep into what he said, you'll have to watch it. It's super interesting. But for me, that was something significant, that someone like Andrei Karpathy comes in and says RL is not really a good methodology to post-train models. And one more thing also interesting, he somehow bashed, he didn't really, but he somehow bashed vibe coding. He said there's 3 places of coding today. People who do it fully manual, 100% human coding. There's the vibe coding world, that is basically what many or most vibe coders do. People who never studied coding in their life, using human language with agents like Claude Code or Codex and getting code and doing tricks on that human language to try to get things to work. And he said there's a middle ground that he uses where it's more about something like the Copilot autocomplete. So he does the code, he understands how it works, he actually keeps it lean, knows exactly what is needed, and only he leveraged the autocomplete feature, which will help him actually speed things up. And one more thing he talks about is his newly released Nano Chat and how he created this to help people learn. It is super interesting to listen to. It is something that I will probably play with to learn how to build GPT-2 from the ground up, and maybe switch the text corpus he uses in his repository and switch it with something else and try to train that and see what I get. So all in all, there's so many other things that they cover in 2 hours and a half. You should go and watch this podcast. I will have that link for the original podcast in my description. It's by a podcaster that I just subscribed to. His name is Dwarkesh Patel. So very good interviewer, by the way. Kudos to him for such a great interview. I promised you a big one at the end, and this is OpenAI's own browser, ChatGPT Atlas. Okay, so this is ChatGPT Atlas in front of you. So this is the browser look. It looks simple and clean. Now, before I do a couple of demos here, and there are super nice things you can do with it. We got Perplexity's Comet. I tested that and I compared it with, at that time, OpenAI's agent. Neither were good. And then we got the Claude browser extension. That was very good. And now we have this. To be honest, till now, personally, I've not used any of the previous 3 significantly in my day-to-day life. Now, before I test this, and I'm testing it with you live, I didn't test it before, this might be super good. I'm gonna do simple tests not to get this episode to be too long. The biggest barrier between these companies and going down the path of browsers, I think, is security and privacy. If they do the best browser ever out there, no one will work with those browsers, at least the vast majority in my opinion, unless we have some kind of assurances. We have the confidence by these tech companies that our information is safe. Comet, I tested the whole thing and I removed it. I deleted it, or I'm not using it. The extension of Claude, I actually tested it and then I disabled it, while it's really interesting. Now, this one will be the same. I will play with it now. I am still not in a mindset where I would trust a ChatGPT model to have access to all my information. We got really bad surprises in the past with other tech companies. I think the consumer and tech giant trust is not there, or it's shaken. So it will take time for these AI companies who are scaring the public enough to build up that trust with the public again and get them to actually engage with these browsers. This is why I think many people are betting that if Chrome does a more integrated kind of approach of Gemini into their browser, that might work the best, because already we all know our information is pretty much with Google, so there's nothing new there. So maybe that will work, at least for now. Now, the interesting thing here, you can see it looks like a normal ChatGPT interface, cleaner, different, browser-like. You can select the model here, so someone like me can use the Pro model on the browser. That's super interesting. So the first one, and by the way, we can select agent mode and use it through the browser itself. So now it's different from what we had before. It's happening on your browser, on not a remote browser. What I will do is I will start with something simple. Plan a weekend get together with friends. So let's hit that and let me add my location. So I added in Dubai during November. The prompt reads, plan a weekend get together with friends, start an agent to plan a weekend get together, collect locations, preferences. Okay, so maybe this will ask me for more logins, like email to send my friends. So now it gave me this pop-up, start logged out, start logged in. In agent mode, ChatGPT can perform complex tasks in the browser. Logged in is logged in mode. ChatGPT can access your logged in sites. Okay, I will say start logged out. I don't want it to log in. I just want to see how it works, how it looks. So this is the agent, but this time it's on my browser, my ChatGPT browser. Here it's asking me some questions before it proceeds. I will tell it to decide everything. So decide all yourself for me. So it's deciding for the user. Okay, let's see these other tabs. So it already is searching the internet. Okay, it's looking stuff up already in Dubai. Interesting. Okay, even videos, news. Okay. Oh, now it moved to the agent mode. So let me just close this notification. The UI is honestly super interesting. The UI is nice. Okay, and it's created nothing super fancy, honestly. Again, it's logged into nothing. I'm sure if I log my email and I ask it to do certain things for me. Let me try something else. I want to check if it's working with connectors, because ChatGPT is connected to my emails and drives as ChatGPT interface, not as a browser. So let's start a new chat here, or open a new tab. So and then we're gonna test actually going to YouTube and see what it can do there. So let me select the Pro model here. Actually, I will use the thinking model. I don't want to go Pro. Pro will take lots of time. So here I want to check if it has the memory from ChatGPT, the one I use as a browser, because this is logged into my account. So I'm not giving it specific spit out information that it needs. I'm just saying, analyze my YouTube channel and tell me why it died down recently. I want answers with surgical accuracy. And my channel did die down recently for something either I'm doing wrong or by YouTube or whatever. If you're watching this so far, please consider hitting like and subscribe for my channel. You'll support me a lot. So let me hit go here and let's see what it does with this. Will it use its memory and actually get all the details needed? Will it use connectors and surprise me with access to my email? I already consented to that, so I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just checking how it will use that information or whatever we have in ChatGPT here through the browser. So it's searching the web. Let me go to this part. Okay, I just want to make sure it identified my channel. So these are very generic results. Okay, so it's looking at searching the internet, but nothing specific to my videos. So it's asking me a question and asking me about my YouTube handle, which I changed recently from Give Me the Mic 22 to Samer AI News. So I'll just give it this answer and see what it does. So it identified it and it gave me some really interesting and good feedback. So still I'll just tell it, okay, this is the right one, and it will go off now and do something else. But it assumed that the channel my channel, based on the memory, based on the conversations I have through ChatGPT, is the right one actually. And it went in and researched generic topics, articles, videos on why a channel could die down and gave me those results. Maybe my prompt wasn't clear. I wanted it to go and actually go through my videos. So let me clear out that prompt and see how it does, what it actually does when it comes to browsing my channel without me giving it access. So all my videos are public. It can go one by one, look through my videos, get the view numbers, get whatever information is publicly available and give me some insight. So I'm telling it, scan my last 20 videos through public links and diagnose the issue from available info and rate my titles and thumbnails on a scale of 1 to 10 overall and not one by one. So I just want an overall mark. So as it does this, it will start thinking, hopefully it will start looking into my videos. We're going to check that later on. I want to show you is, at the end of the day, this is a browser. So this is the same podcast I told you about. This is Andre's podcast that we discussed a minute ago. Here you can see Ask ChatGPT on the top. So that's the difference when it comes to this browser compared to normal ChatGPT. I will ask it to give me the top 3 important points Andre mentioned in the podcast. And let's see if I did a good job with the points that I gave you a second ago. So I'm saying, give me the top 3 points Andre talks about in the podcast. Very simple prompt. Let's see how it comes back. So it's reading documents. Okay. It actually did transcribe the video in one way or another. And it's telling me the number 1 basically comment by Andre is the decade of agents, not the year of agents. So we cover that. Kudos to me. We are summoning ghosts, not building animals. Okay. Again, I covered this one. And the third one is the obvious one. Reinforcement learning, it's terrible, but everything else, okay, so just everything else is worse. So it's the best out of much worse things. So yeah, I maybe I missed this point. So I take maybe a 9 out of 10. So this is a tab that you can use across blogs, across anything. So imagine anything you're doing online, you can ask ChatGPT, get it involved. You can loop in the agent. If you go again to a new tab and you want to do something through the browser, you can actually get the agent to do it for you. The biggest challenge, I would love to use such a tool. I will do so probably in the future when the trust is built. Till now, I'm not trusting any tech company with everything I have, especially if it can do actions on my email, my private information, basically. Okay, so let's go back to the analytics. Okay, we can see that actually looked into my videos. So let's see here. Can we see some of the videos? It seems it's not updating what it searches based on the prompts that I have. But from the looks of it, okay, if we scroll down, so it looked at the last 20 videos, and it contains a mix of agent builds and Zapier workflows, which is true. The review I did on GPT OSS, the new open source model by OpenAI, DeepMind Alpha Evolve story. So it actually did look into my videos. Mechanisms causing the slowdown. Okay, this is my problems. So now I'm putting it out for the public. So write me a comment if you agree with these things. Mixed intent. So weak home fit. Newsy reacts. Evergreen education and long step-by-step builds are all valid, but the audience for each is different. Okay, so I need to focus. I think this is something I keep thinking about. Titles, trend long, and tool first. Okay, so I have long titles, issues there. I'm gonna actually use this further to analyze my issues. Shorts not tightly coupled to long form. So I do different things in shorts and long form. Over length without ruthless hook density. So again, I have long videos, not really catchy. Thumbnail clarity likely below peak. So basically everything I'm doing is wrong. Thumbnails is 5 out of 10, titles is 6 out of 10. So that is a really direct and honest feedback by AI. Okay, ouch. But anyways, so this is something that definitely I need to work on. So that was a long one. It was definitely a really heavy couple of weeks in the world of AI. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do not forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, write me a comment, share it with others if you think they will benefit from getting to know the latest and greatest in the world of AI. And with this, thank you for watching and goodbye.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel. Give me the mic.